vaccine right now. So this is a recent video, a recent animation released by Nucleus Medical Media 2021. So it would be more updated one. That's what I brought this video. We have several types of vaccine. That's what my point. So let's understand the COVID-19 virus vaccines, viral vaccines. So here, if you can see, the viruses can be of different types. They are almost dead. They are mostly dead and or weakened. Weakened means they can't really replicate or they can't really infect a cell, but they have a markers or they have this identification characters which can trigger the immune response and kill them, as well as active viruses as well. So that's what viruses can be of part of viruses or proteins, spike proteins, or inactivated or weakened viral particles. So now we are talking specifically about mRNA viral vaccines of COVID-19. So let's see how it's different from other vaccines available or previously viral vaccines that were created. How far it is different. So before even before even trying to understand the mRNA vaccines, we need to really understand what exactly this mRNA, what its functions in the cell. So in 12th standard, you will be learning about molecular biology, mol bio lesson, chapter 6. Okay, which is very interesting lesson. We'll be learning about DNA, RNA, etc. Okay, here we will be talking about central dogma. And even in our introductory lesson, I told about central dogma. It means nothing but DNA produces RNA, that is mRNA, and mRNA produces protein. So the language of DNA and RNA will be almost the same. These are raw materials which the DNA is actually made up of, polynucleotide, right? Double-stranded. But mRNA is made up of AUGC. Only T will be different. So mRNA is a single strand. Protein is made up of amino acids, chain of amino acids. Means obviously the goal of mRNA is to produce the proteins, right? So now we are using this mRNA specifically to actually as a vaccine. So let's understand. So this is a general function of mRNA, that is to produce proteins with the help of protein synthesis machinery, ribosomes in 10th standard you would have studied cell structure and function, in which 9th or 10th you'll be learning about ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, which helps in protein synthesis, etc. Right? So that's where this ribosomes coupled with mRNA produces the protein. And in COVID-19 cases, these proteins are spike proteins and other proteins which assemble as a new viral particle. So now we are creating a vaccine using mRNA. So let's see how exactly this mRNA would act as a vaccine. So whatever, if any new cell has to produce, it is given instructions in the form of mRNA. It would go out of the nucleus and start protein synthesis in a very normal general process. Okay. So the protein synthesis happens in the cytoplasm. So you can see these molecules, violet and yellow color molecules. These are all raw materials, nucleotides, right? So that That's what I told. The antiviral drugs can stop at any stage. Even antiviral drugs can stop this protein synthesis also. But we are trying to understand the general function of mRNA. Here, mRNA is producing a protein chain. You can see this chain of molecule that is protein, which is a building block, right? So here, this is a general process. So here, what they're doing. So this mRNA, just like how in human it creates a protein in as an information to create a protein. Even in this mRNA vaccine, which is given to the humans, has information, only part of information to produce the spike proteins of the entire virus. It is not producing entire virus. So there is no harm. So it is actually according to the research, right? So the viral mRNA has an information to produce only the key spike proteins, right? So the spike proteins can be recognized by our immune system and sees that as a threat, as a real thief. But actually, they are not real thief. It's a mock drill, right? So what happens when we give this mRNA vaccine into the human? Even piece of a spike protein, not complete spike protein also, piece of a spike protein is made with the help of this mRNA. So the mRNA will be disintegrated after the protein synthesis. So that's a general process. Now we have what we have. We have only piece of the spike protein. So these will not be actually entering into the cell. So that's what we have to remember. So now what happened? Our cells would start producing this, right? And these viral proteins, spike part of spike protein, and our immune cells will recognize as an foreign protein, and they start producing antibodies. So this is the first time where antibodies would be produced against the spike proteins, right? Then it will be remembering. It means it has a memory B cells, we will say, which produces these antibodies. So in a actual infection, what happens? Let's see. So because we already has antibodies for the spike proteins, which triggered the immunity to produce these antibodies. Now, if a real virus comes, what happens? Let's look. So you can see here, antibodies are going and they are attaching to the all the spike proteins of a actual real virus, right? So what happens? So when the antibodies are actually masking the entire virus, it is nowhere attached to the cell, and obviously it would be killed by our macrophages or immune cells. Because they have antibodies, the antibodies will be recognized by a different process. Now, right now, that is not good. But obviously, these viral particles would be in real infection after vaccination, they will be killing this real virus. So that's why even when we take vaccine, within the first 2 3 days, we'll be having high fever because the entire immune system is very active at that point of time and trying to eliminate certain proteins and aspects. So that's why you get the fever as well. So you don't have to really worry when you get fever when there is a vaccination, but we have to consult doctor when you have fear of what's going on. So that would be more appropriate action that you can take. So CDC, as in Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, where you can get all the information. Okay, sir, there is a math class. We have math class. Sir. Okay, okay, fine then. It's already time. Just now, 2:20. So I hope you understood the entire lecture, right? If you have doubts, we can discuss in the next class. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Okay. If you have doubts, ask me. Otherwise, you can leave the class. Leave a feedback. Okay. See you. Aditi, is everything clear?